Can we make food colouring into an alcohol ink? We're going to find out. So we are back with another crazy experiment. We are going to try and make an alcohol ink with a food colouring. Now I've seen this done before for art purposes, for like painting on paper, etc. But will it work in resin? So I've got two mixing cups and I'm just going to show you something very quickly. That one hasn't been opened. So this one, these are from Decorom. This one is grape. Now I'm going to add a few drops. I'm not actually counting them. You can probably count them for me. But I want it to be quite strong because these aren't concentrated. Actually, I didn't need to put that much into this one for what I'm going to show you. Let's pour it into the other one. Now, a lot of you know already, who have been watching my channel, that I've been playing around a lot with acetone and alcohol. I'm making my own sinkers and I'll be making my own inks. So in this bottle here is 99.9% isopropanol. If I add that to the food colouring, which is what you'd think to make an alcohol ink, that you just drop alcohol into whatever you want to make an ink with, but it doesn't work like that. And we've learnt that. You can see that it just separates. It doesn't blend, it doesn't mix due to the ingredients that are contained within the food colouring. Now, if we add an acetone first, like we've seen in my previous videos, it should strip the content straight down to a really good mix. And then what we can do is top that up with alcohol to make our alcohol ink. So we are going to experiment only using 3 colours today. I've run out of needle tip bottles, so I'm going to have to take mine from my mixing cups as I go. So I'm using the collaboration resin for this. I've already pre-mixed and I'm just going to pour it into my mould. So I've only done a few just in case this goes terribly wrong. Now this little heart here is going to be our tester, and I'm going to just see what happens when I drop the colour with just the acetone, with no alcohol added to my resin. If it wants to come off, you can see this kind of like a water content where it's not mixing very well. It's not sitting on the surface of the resin. That's not going to work. So let's top that up with my isopropyl. I'm probably going with a 30% acetone and 70% alcohol ratio, and just thoroughly mix that in. So I'm not expecting the colour to be as strong now because we have diluted that down, and it is behaving in a very different way. It looks like it wants to cling to the sides, but it is adding colour to the resin. So we're going to carry on with the experiment. I know I've got lots of bubbles, but again, this is an experiment. Don't judge me. So I'm just going to continue dropping my colours into these pieces, and then I will mix up another colour using exactly the same ratio, and we'll see what happens. So this one is strawberry. It's not very strong. I can see that some of the first colour has actually kind of dropped down into the resin. It's given it a kind of cloudy look. Now I've gone with a mango, and it's a really risky colour to go in alongside the blue especially, but I'm just going to see what happens. They could really clash in a yucky way. Add a couple of drops. You can see some speckles where it has kind of reacted with the resin in a bad way. But it is all part of the experimenting, which I will be doing lots more of. I mean, lots of us have got food colouring lying around. This could be handy if you can't get alcohol inks, if it works. We'll see. So I'm going to be using my homemade Sinker White that I made in #155. The only difference to this is that I've added a little bit more of my white pigment paste, just to make this a little bit stronger and a little bit more solid and opaque. But before I do that, I want to add a bit more colour. Where that mango has spread inwards, I'm just going to apply some more of the strawberry, just to fill any negative space. As always, massive shout out to my channel members. Anyone who's bought me a coffee or a super thanks. It's very, very much appreciated. Thank you. Got a really nice vibe going on in this strip in the middle here. I really like that. But it's all going to change when we add our Sinker white. So again, as we've experienced before, I think these are tiny spots of water from the water content, either from the acetone, which has aqua in it, or from the food colorings themselves. But hopefully that should just evaporate because it's nothing major. So I'm just going to take my Sinker white now and just evenly cover the back of the piece. Like so. I may go in with another layer, just depending on how the ink spread and how translucent it looks. If I can see this kind of, you see that line through the resin, which is part of the underside of the mold, if I can still see that after dropping my white, then maybe I want it a bit more opaque. I think for now I'm quite happy with how they look. So the inks are dancing away still, you can't really see, but they are still moving. And we're going to come back in about 1 hour to do our swirly design. So it's only been about 5 minutes and I wanted to show you kind of what's happening. So you can see there's some kind of open space areas that have opened up. Now, from experience, when I tried to make my own alcohol ink from pigment paste, let me show you, we had a really strange webby look. Now I'm not sure if this is doing the same or whether this is just because the surface is still moving around, because they're not all doing that. So it will be interesting to see if those spaces close up again. Okay, so it's been about 30 minutes and I'm going to go in with another layer of the white Sinker. I know it's going to make it more pastel, but they are looking very translucent and I can't really see any of the Sinker making any effect. Right, so it's been about an hour and I can see in the test piece, I'm hoping this hasn't happened to all of them, but those blobs have sunk. So I think we could filter those out maybe with a tea bag, you know, the paper that we, or a coffee filter maybe, I don't know. It's just an idea. So I'm just going to do my usual swirl in all of these and I will see you for the demold. See what we get. See you soon. Right, we're all set, and some massive news. We've just hit 50k on subscribers, so thank you all for that amazing support. Those of you who always come back from my videos, everyone that's new that's joined, thank you very much. I really didn't expect to hit 50k until the end of the year, so I'll be doing a giveaway soon on my Facebook page, so make sure that you're following on there. I'll post some more details soon. I won't do it on here because there's a lot of fake accounts set up when you do giveaways, and I don't want that on my channel. So let's see if it worked. I can already see some little blobs in there, but I really do think I did run another experiment on the side using the same method, but I used less colouring, and I'll show you those in a moment. And what I did is I kind of allowed the blobby bits to sink to the bottom first and I used the top, but I honestly think if we were to strain these with a filter we wouldn't have this issue, but I'll experiment with that another time. As always, give the video a thumbs up, drop me a comment. If you haven't subbed, hit that button for me. There's no residue, there's no stickiness, they've cured absolutely solid, so there's no issues there. There we have it, a couple of tiny specks. The Sinker's worked a lot better. I see a couple of specks there as well. But food colouring has worked. Is it worth it? I don't know. You tell me. Let's go with this one. I think, oh, we've got some more they're not wet in any way. It's not coming off. I just think it's something that we just need to work with. But there's some really good colours in there compared to my other test, which I'll show you. Let's check this one. Focus. There it is. Again, we've got those specks. I mean, I could spend some time on this to get rid of those by sanding them down and then top coating. But we don't want that. The less work, the best. Right, the other ones. So these were done with the same method, not as much colour. This one did. There's a tiny speck there, but I think that might have been in my mould. But they worked very, very pastel, this one. You can barely see any colour. And there was these two as well. Maybe a black background might have helped. But again, something to work with and play around with. Right, I hope you enjoyed the video. I will see you for the next one. Bye for now.